first time that I've gone into depth about talking about this roast. I've never done an in-depth interview about this roast until now.
Not disrespectful way, but you were the lowest on the totem pole, kind of in that room. You know what I'm saying? People didn't really know who you were.
Absolutely.
So is that intimidating because you don't know how far you could go? Because like, hold on, I ain't got no clout here. So when it comes time to roasting, that actually adds a little element of like, should I go this far? Should I not go this far? I ain't nobody up here. So, you know what I'm saying? Did that play a part in how you felt when you was on there getting up there to roast, that you didn't really feel that comfortable, one, and then was small?
So if we get, just skipping time, and I guess we'll go back and forth to this or what have you. I was there. It was like a rookie playing his first game with the pros or what have you. I was, among elite talent. And what a lot of people don't know, man, because you have a lot of people that come out, after the fact. And I always say it's like people saying, man, I wouldn't have picked no cotton back then, man. What I would have done, man, so you had to be there. So what people didn't see, the backstory to that is that before that show started, Jamie went out in front of that crowd. And sometimes I think that a lot of stuff was premeditated because he went out before that crowd and just wowed them for about 30 minutes while they were getting everything set up. He sang songs, he did comedy, he had them eating out of the palm of his hand. So he almost, kind of stacked the deck. So if anything happened, he had, and Pierre can relate to this from doing stand-up with live audience. Once you get an audience, you get them. You can talk about whatever you want. You can talk about date rape. If they love you, they love you. So he had them eating out of the palm of his hands before that show even started. And I found that odd that I heard him say in the back before we got started, he said, hey, don't ever turn my microphone off. Now, if you've ever seen roast, typically the host is not mic'd up all the time. His mic is not there to where if he says this. So he wanted his microphone to stay on at all times. And he had that crowd eating out of the palm of his hand. Before we started, that was his crowd. So that, I just want to preference it by saying that. So that kind of limited me, when everything started. I knew that, I was in my head. So it wasn't too many plays. I mean, anything that I said was just going to be on a personal note or something that would have probably got a ooh or something or something in retrospect, looking back, that you might say, oh, that was a good one or what have you. But I don't think anything that I could have done would have caused that crowd to join me as opposed to being Jamie or turn on Jamie.
Well, but let me ask you something, Doug, and again, from a comics perspective, we roast. This is what we do. It's a roast, and Jamie's a good roaster. I think he saw somebody's failing, not doing well at a moment, and he decided to pounce on you. It was just what it is. Now, I think also you're low on the totem pole, so you become a better victim opposed to had it been someone better, Joe Torre doing that or Guy Torre, he might not wanted to stomp on him so bad. But you, who are you? You ain't nobody. You kind of a no name on the show.
Absolutely.
So shit, let me pounce on this dude and whip his ass with all these jokes because the crowd's on my side and not on his side.
Absolutely.
So I might as well get the best of it. And it's a moment. And a moment
Absolutely.
is what it is.
You're 100% correct. Your perception of that is correct. Nobody knew me. I mean, it's kind of like the bully on the playground that looks around and sees, okay, I'm not gonna mess with this guy. This guy right here, though, I can take it. I can take. So I do feel like that there was a lot of that. I mean, if you go back and look at that tape and you look at the people who were there, everybody had some type of notoriety. I was the only one there who hadn't done anything, didn't have, any credits, anything under my belt, maybe, a couple appearances on BET, but that was it. So, yeah, I do feel like, you spot on with that. Spot on with that.
And that's a little surprising to me because I know Jamie talked a little bit about, before the show you were, kind of thinking you were the hot stuff. Is there any truth to that?
No truth to that at all. Now, I'm going to tell you guys, what I'm telling you is the honest to God truth of what happened that night. Pierre knows me, and I'm glad Pierre came on this call or whatever. You've known me for over 25 years. Mm-hmm. Have you ever known me to be braggadocious? Have you ever known me before a show? And I've done several shows with you. Have you ever known me to be saying, yeah, I'm gonna rip this, I'm this. It just, and I don't know, like he said, he was drinking that night. So, maybe he was drunk and maybe that's what he thought he heard. Maybe somebody told him that or whatever, but that's the farthest thing from the truth. Keep in mind, I'm in a place I'm unfamiliar with. I don't want to be there. it wouldn't. What would it behoove me to be back there bragging? I mean, you know, nobody
like
you,
brother.
No, nobody knew me on that show, so there was no reason. I mean, that's like a rookie stepping on the court with LeBron James and all these people, like, yeah, I'm a dog you, I'm gonna do this or whatever. There was no reason for me to be braggadocious or saying. In fact, it was the opposite. I was so quiet you could hear a rat pissing on cotton back there. That's how quiet I was at the backstage trying to get my thoughts.
Like, how did you make that transition to continue and keep going after that moment?
You know, it wasn't that hard. You know, the funny thing about that was I had forgotten all about that roast. You know, the DVD had come out, and it was like an afterthought. And then all of a sudden, YouTube came out, and somebody posted, and then I started getting all of these things about, you know, just people calling me, man, I saw the roast, and I'm like, what is everybody talking about? What is everybody talking about? And then I saw it on YouTube or whatever. So it wasn't hard to go on afterwards. The hard part came in, you know, after it became a big success on the internet. And now, you know, in retrospect, I wish I had negotiated, you know, a better deal in terms of residuals and this and that, because that's all people remember about that roast. I mean, you could ask somebody right now who was on that roast. They only remember that. And for a while, it was an embarrassment. But I'm gonna tell you, man, Tony Woods. We were doing Comic View out here. Tony Woods, comedian Tony Woods. I don't. You know, people can Google it.
We've had him on show last week. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Tony Woods, man, came up to me and he said, "Hey, man, let me talk to you for a second." And he probably doesn't even remember this. He pulled me to the side. He said, "Man, don't ever feel bad about that roast." He said, "I would trade places with you in a heartbeat." He said, "Man, you haven't truly used that to your advantage." He said, "Stop hiding and running from it."
So to see people giving you your flowers now for, you know, keep pushing on, how does it make you feel to see those positive responses?
You know, it really is. I've taken this opportunity to use this now to inspire people, to encourage people, to tell people, don't ever let somebody rain on your parade, you know, because it's like Pierre said, I don't care how long you've been doing this, you know, once things happen, you're the new guy, you're the new face, you're the new hot thing or whatever. So I always tell people, don't let, you know, your career should never be defined by one thing anyway. It should be a collaboration of things and endurance, and it really has given me an opportunity to uplift my kids, to tell them, hey man, no matter how bad things get, you got to keep pushing, you got to keep going.